Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson channeling the man in the moon. Today, I want to take a look at Donald Trump and when is he actually going to get indicted? Maybe you noticed he's pretending that he's going to get arrested and stuff because, Donald, he always wants attention. One note, if you are interested in shamanic work, I didn't make this clear before. There's just one session that you can take it given at various different times. It's not a book like you'd have to take 6 sessions or anything like that. Just take a look at my website if that interests you. And we now will take a look at Donald. So, okay, so here's Donald with the sword out. It's the thing is he's got a sword, but there's a lot of enemies. Okay, a lot of people with swords. There's like 22 of them, and here's Donald with one sword. So he's kind of surrounded, and now he's just flailing. He's just gonna wave that sword around where and hit whatever he can. I just get this right now, just this feeling. The old methods just aren't working anymore. He used to be able to grab attention and change the dynamic of what was going on, and that has been true for his entire life. But now they're rivals. There are other political right-wing candidates that are challenging him. So it's not going to be that easy this time around. And people have gotten used to Biden's more calm, normal demeanor. A lot of people are, to some degree, breathing a sigh of relief. It's not about the economy. It's not about anything else. It's about the society for some portions of people that might have supported Trump before. So what about this indictment? Huh. So one of the people with the sword, one of the, people opposing Trump, she comes out with a sword. I actually think this is Fani Willis. Spirit, is this Fani Willis? Getting a yes. But it's kind of, when I get a yes, it's like a white line. And this one's a little bit bead. So I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. But I don't know if she'll necessarily be the first, but I'm seeing her. And she is very elegant moving that sword. She's like just like a musketeer. She knows what she's doing, but it's actually very graceful, which I wouldn't say of a musketeer. It has a certain delicate, like a balance in a way. She kisses her sword. What does that mean? Oh, she believes in what she is doing. She believes, you might say, in what she's doing, or even she believes in justice. Yeah, it now the sword is like heart, 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 heart. It's like a succession of hearts. So, it's really interesting. I think that this is a model for all of us. We don't want to be violent. It's wrong to be violent, but the sword is not a sword of violence. It's a sword of justice. And in a sense, while it might appear that we are attacking, the real truth of the matter here is that this is done of love. It is done of love for the rules of law, love for the United States, love for the society that you live in. She's smiling. And I cannot get over the irony that this is a black woman, exactly the people who Trump attacks. And Trump attacks everyone, so it's not just them, but it's almost like the epitome of the people who have less power. And by that, I mean any minority or women or anybody in the society have less power. It's really demonstrative because it's almost like something that we can all learn how to be graceful in response to a Neanderthal, let's just call the former guy that. And she goes like this, right in his chest. He is totally surprised. He doesn't think that she's got it in her. He doesn't think that he really doesn't think that people are powerful enough to take him down personally. He really believes that he is all powerful and that people will always wimp out because that's how it has been for much of his life. So what else is going on there? Ooh, it is a really piercing wound. It goes through his chest, out the other end. He's devastated by this, uh, just devastated by this initial blow. And the other swords are actually kind of being held up in unison. So I think that these events, the legal suits against Trump, are actually coordinated. These guys look like they're coordinated. And if you think about it, I mean, what would you do? Of course, you would coordinate the lawsuits. You can't have Trump doing a deposition on the same day in 4 different places. It's just not possible. Pardon me. This is devastating. The wound is, it's interesting, like a pyramid. It's like a triangle shape right through his chest. Trump is really ailing and he's really devastated. He's coughing up blood. He's frightened. And with such people, any emotion just gets turned into anger, because anger is an acceptable emotion in his milieu, if you will. But he's still fighting, but he's not doing a great job. He's wounded. So I'm just going to ask when. When is this going to happen? So, Spirit, tell me when it's going to happen one more time. Look at February, and I don't get that as the date of the start. I feel like that's the finish. That's when the real, yeah, maybe that's the end of some of these trials and when he is sentenced. So February, I just get maybe the 9th, February 9th or 8th. Yeah, in January, it's just like it's very cold, like it's snowing in Mar-a-Lago cold. It's like the winter of my discontent. It's kind of this. So Spirit again, yeah, and then there'll be something else that happens in March. Look, I know this might seem like bad news to a lot of you. We all want this to happen quickly, but understand that that is a media cycle. 100 years ago, we wouldn't have expected this to happen so quickly. It's just the media has made everything immediate, and so we expect things to be immediate. That's all Trump was immediacy all over and over again. So we've gotten into a habit, and let's face it, this should have been done more quickly, but we don't know the details. We don't know what's going on in those offices and how hard this is, and how much evidence there is. You can't start something if you haven't completed all of the evidentiary. You can't leave anything out, or you might go to court and be surprised. So it is a lot of work. There's just so much stuff, so much evidence. So something will happen in April this year. I think it might be the 14th. Something in April will happen. Like that might be the date that he's served or the date he gives a deposition. Well, let's ask what happens on the 14th of April. Okay. I'm being shown a large pyramid. What's inside? Yeah, inside that pyramid it's another image of just Lady Justice. So it might be that that's when he is served or deposed or when it really gets started. And there will be a lot of news about this. If y'all haven't noticed, there isn't that much to, there isn't that much to the news these days. The country's not, turning into a fascist dictatorship at any moment. So it's not as, in a way, it's not as exciting. But in the next, once this starts, it'll be like newspaper sales like crazy. Yeah, headlines, headlines, headlines. Every day we'll be reading new and really shocking headlines. So, Spirit, who else is involved? Who else is gonna get in trouble for this? Well, one person that shows up is Cohen, Michael Cohen, his former lawyer. And there is a Stormy Daniels case that I'm looking at. I can see Stormy herself, and Michael's just pointing to the guy and the guy over there, and he's in a courtroom. Stormy Daniels is also in the courtroom. And it's very interesting that it's three. It's like, again, I'm seeing it like this sort of triangle between three people. There's something to this. Keep in mind, there's the testimony of two people versus Donald Trump, not to mention a lot of evidence. So, what's going to happen in that trial, Spirit? Okay, I'm seeing like some kind of like hula dancing, song and dance. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. A lot of song and dance out of Trump. A lot of it's like a distraction. Here's the hula dancers. Don't look at the court case. So Trump takes a knife, puts it in his mouth, but this judges what he's doing, and so he actually winds up cutting himself a little bit. So he's bleeding with a knife in his mouth. It doesn't look good, So here he is in court, with a knife in his mouth, bleeding. Does not look good. So be prepared to be frustrated to some degree with this court case. There will be a lot of song and dance around it, a lot of drama. Is he going to be convicted or not? Okay, Stormy's giving me a wry smile. I don't know what that smile means, whether it's like ironic, like, hey, nothing works against this guy, or whether it's haha, he got it. Let's take a look at Michael Cohen, who's showing up. What's it gonna have? What's it gonna be, Michael? You show me. So Michael opens a book, and it has a feeling of like, you swear on a Bible in court. It has a feeling it's a Bible. So it's almost like he's opening a book and pointing at a page in this book. And I mean, it could be a Bible, it could be something else, but like my feeling is almost like truth or something like that. And don't mistake me, I don't think everything in the Bible is true. But, you know, there are a few things. And so he points to this like it's in the records, and that's all it could be, just records. So he points, and there's something about this thing that he's pointing to. There's three jurors who were not really convinced until he pointed to this, and it may be an issue of ethics and morality, and that's what changes their mind. They know, those three people, whomever they voted for, know the difference between what is moral and what is immoral. and they're a little bit moved by Stormy Daniels. You know, if we just picture her as this call girl, you know, that many people have sympathy for her, but she shows up with, you know, her child, you know, all of a sudden she becomes a mother. And she also becomes a mother when she talks about how she was threatened, how fearful she was, that she would, you know, her life would be exposed. Everybody knows who she is now. I mean, how hard is it for her to walk down a street and not be harassed? So this um, there's something about her presenting herself in front of a jury that actually convinces a few people. They are sympathetic to her because she's allowed to speak and reveal who she was and is, and um she's crying, you know. So, you know, whatever a person's occupation is, she's a human being, and she's a parent, and she has to consider, you know, the effects of all this stuff on her children. I mean, we're asking a lot of Stormy Daniels. Again, I don't care what her profession is personally, but we should acknowledge that she's risking a lot. She's risking her life. She's risking the family life that she has. So people are moved by her. There seems to be maybe one holdout juror. And that juror is shaking their head, but they have an idea. It's almost like the charges could be reduced to accommodate all 12 jurors, or they are somehow mitigated, compromised. So let's see, is Trump gonna get? Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna be convicted? And I'm thinking only of the trial about the hush money. Now here's a judge. Judge has a sword. Again, sword of justice. Sword of justice lays down on the table. The judge looks a little disappointed and then angry. Okay, that sword goes like this right to the center of the picture I'm looking at. So, is Trump going to be convicted, Spirit? Perhaps show me in a different way. You know, I'm not sure that he will be convicted. I keep getting very ambiguous kind of knows. I don't think it's completely decided yet, but let's see if I get one more image on this. And again, this is just the case with Stormy Daniels. Oh, Michael Cohen's chiming in here. And he's going like this, like, hey, that's justice in America. He is moving the jury though. Hey, they kind of forgive him and they kind of believe him. Okay, let's see if I can ask one more time. And understand these things may not be completely decided. It's still shifting and changing. No reading is going to be perfect because nothing is static, things change. So whatever I tell you today is not necessarily going to be the case, and it's not necessarily going to be obvious right now. So what's that? Okay, now we're splitting a tree in half. There's something ambiguous about this result. I'm not necessarily certain he will be convicted. It might just be that he is humiliated. So maybe there's a kind of a holdout juror. Yeah, there is one holdout. and they're kind of convinced. They're like, well, yeah, okay, it's against the law, whatever. Yeah, okay, they want, and then they go home and they talk to people that they know, and they convince that person that they should let Donald off. But it's a really splitting that person. Look, I've got to tell you honestly, I'm getting a no. I don't necessarily think he will be convicted of this crime. He will be embarrassed. He will be humiliated. There will be more information that comes out to apply to the next trial. Keep in mind that this is the least important of the trials. It is the least serious. So it might just be that we get some more information and we move on to the next case. So Spirit, again, is he going to be convicted? I keep getting this. There's some kind of split. It's like maybe they reduce it to a misdemeanor or something like that. Like here's the white line, that's usually yes. And then here's the sword right down the middle. There's some kind of split. I mean, it could even end in a mistrial and they start over. Yeah, I'm not sure that he will be convicted. But look, if he is not, remember, this is not the end of the world. There are many, many, many cases against Trump, and this is the least important case. It doesn't mean because he's not convicted in one case, it has nothing to do with the next case. People keep theorizing, oh, it's going to do him good. He'll win the first one and then he'll get confident. Well, it doesn't really matter if he's confident or not. It's about the 12 jurors and the case that's presented and how seriously people take it. And it might be that paying off a porn star to keep her quiet is not a serious enough case for people in New York, or at least one person in New York, to think that he deserves any punishment. I think it kind of goes against their morals. The one holdout juror, I think that they are convinced about this because they want to be a member of the Republican club. I think that it might be that the when they choose the jury, they cannot pick only Democrats. They have to pick people based on from both sides. Otherwise, it won't be a legitimate trial. But there's some people, doesn't matter what evidence you have, you just can't convince them. So walking away from this, I don't want anybody to feel negative about it. I do think it's kind of a split. It's kind of a 50-50. It's a bit of a loss for Trump and a bit of a win for Trump. But ultimately, this is not the end. It's just the beginning. So don't be disappointed. This is not over. It's just the start. Perhaps it won't work, and the prosecutors will learn from this and apply this to the next case in terms of just their awareness and understanding. Thanks so much for watching.